Hey folks, it's Mark from Top Notch Farms, and just out picking some cherry tomatoes and getting ready for a farmer's market, a midday farmer's market. So here, just thought we'd show you a quick look of the harvest and what the greenhouse is looking like at the moment. So you can see here on the outside we have some hot peppers, there's some cayennes here, we've got some orange blazes. So they're looking okay. They're a little bit, I'd like the pep plants to be a little bit bigger. They're not doing as well as I'd like. The next row here we have all jalapenos. We really increased the amount of jalapenos we're growing this year to try and do some more pickled peppers and stuff. And here is the main goal of today. You can see the sun gold tomatoes. You can see along here, you can see quite a few orange ones. They're a yellow orangish tomato, and then we'll come over here and we can see this is our big beef tomatoes here. So you can see we're getting some nice clusters here, some nice looking tomatoes in there. They will be hopefully starting to show some blushing soon, and we'll have some nice tomatoes here shortly. We've got some these are greenhouse peppers here. So they're coming along. We've been starting to pick our own green peppers here, and over here we've got some other green peppers here, and you can see already we're getting, it's got a little bit of dirt on it, but you can see we're getting some pretty nice peppers already. And up above there we have some more hot peppers. But anyways, let's pick some cherry tomatoes. So if anyone's wondering, we just added this white plastic to our greenhouse here. This is when you have the plants under really high density. This will reflect the light back up and just help the plants to ripen up, the fruit. So here's a closer look here. So if you can smell these have an amazing tomato flavor, smell, and as well flavor. I think they're almost in some ways like eating candy when they're in their prime here. And yeah, there's going to be a few pints to pick here, so just take you along. So I just thought while I'm looking, I might have a quick look, see if there's some jalapenos ready here. I don't want to pick too many, but something like that looks pretty good to me. And I think people are going to be pretty excited about jalapenos. You can see in here we have some plants doing this, which I'm not really familiar with what's going on here, that why these leaves are curling up and the plants seem to be stunted. It's every year there is a some other new challenge to be dealt with, whether that's disease or pests or trying new techniques, trying to do things better. This the white plastic on the base of our greenhouse, this is a new one for us. What I did was I found some people that had tarps that they had put down for making hockey rinks over the winter. We are in Canada here, and I was able to pick those up at a pretty good price. Now that is an interesting looking pepper there. That is supposed to be a jalapeno, but that is a weird looking jalapeno. This variety is Monet. I've grown it for a few years now. I'm pretty happy with it. It is a very consistent producer, and the plants look nice. They're pretty healthy. They seem to produce all through the season. So I think we're still just a little early in our tomato production, our tomato harvest. I'm about, I don't know, a third of the way through the row here, and I've gotten, 4 pints. I would really expect that we'll soon be getting in the 20 to 30 pints here very shortly. Now, interestingly there, you can see that truss is fully done. I really should have my scissors and I'll go and cut that off. Might as well go get them. Taking care of that when I can see it. So just have a nice sharp scissors here. When things get a little bit later on with the tomatoes, you really can't pull too much on them because you'll damage them. So yeah, I'm just going to take that truss off, and it's garbage. Take that one off as well. So you can sort of see along here, we've been trying to keep these pruned back and keep the leaves away. Make sure there's nice airflow on the bottom, especially in this high density setting. We don't want any disease coming in. Try and keep the plants off the ground as well. We are using a caterpillar tunnel for our greenhouse, for our tomatoes, and it's really asking a little bit more of the structure than it was designed for. Perfect world. Maybe we'll get a greenhouse here and we'd have something where it's a little bit higher off the ground, so I'd have more room to trellis the tomatoes up. But anyways, we got this for a great deal. We got it used. So, there's always more ways to spend your money than there's actually money to be spent. So you gotta be picky and choosy about how you get in. So we got this greenhouse, I think it was like, or this caterpillar tunnel, we got it for like $600 Canadian, used. We had to replace the plastic on it, which was about another $500. But all in all, this is our first venture into greenhouse growing. So here's another truss that's done, so take that off. And carry on. Jalapeno. I'm just looking for some fat jalapenos. There's the odd tomato that we've knocked off through the past few days. I try and put them up on the plastic, and then I'm gonna use them, let them ripen if they're green. Get some more bins out. So I think over here you can see our hot Hungarians, so we'll probably pick a few of those here shortly. They are one of my favorite peppers. I've been doing them for quite a few years too. They have a really nice flavor. They're always a great producer. The problem we had with them this year is I think they needed to go in the ground a little bit quicker than when we actually put them in. So I think the plants had some stress. I think they were feeling like they were needing to set fruit kind of a little earlier than they probably should have. So when we got them into the ground, they were almost ready to throw flowers. So I think really what that comes down to is that they were stressed when we put them in. So next year, if they're producing a little bit quicker than the jalapenos, then we need to get them in ground quicker than the jalapenos. And the jalapenos were the first thing we put in the greenhouse this spring. So some great picking here. So when the tomatoes are nice and big like this too, pretty easy to fill a pint basket. One nice side benefit of having this plastic down too is it's making pushing this bin along a little bit easier. So we do have two other cherry tomato varieties in here. We're doing a mosaic mix, which are more like an oblong tomato, and they are supposed to be a variety of colors. So we'll see those here shortly. And the one that I might like even better than these, which is called the Cherry Bomb. They are a bright red tomato, and I find the flavor on them very, very sweet and very tomatoey. So the only downside is to the Cherry Bombs is the seeds are very expensive. I don't know why, but they're like almost into the $1 a seed range. Spotted those fat jalapenos. Something we did last year was we pickled a bunch of cowboy candy, and our customers seem to really like that. So where we have a lot more orchard, you know, I like having some stuff that we can kind of have as our apples and orchard kind of pulls away. So we can kind of have a consistent presence at our farmers market with a variety of products. There is going to be a nice load of jalapenos in there. There's a lamb's quarter that somehow missed weeding. Polish those up. Some nice jalapenos there. So that is nine pints of tomatoes here. I was hoping for maybe 10 or 12. So I'd say we're a little over half now through the row. So we're doing pretty good. So one of the things that I'm really keeping my eye out for, especially as we go into the season, is any calcium deficiency. That will result in a blossom end rot. I know that you always see people asking about that. That's usually where you'll see at the bottom of the tomato. I find it much more on the bigger tomatoes, but where they'll the cells literally don't have the materials they need to divide, so it looks like a really black spot in the bottom, and it usually goes through the tomato and makes the tomato inedible. So I know a lot of people will say watering is the only key to it. We put some mussel shells in our soil. We got some crushed mussel shells, and we put a sprinkle in around every plant this year. And what was nice about that is we had the mussel shells had a variety of textures to them. So we had everything from a fine powder to bigger chunks. And I feel like then that is going to give us more coverage throughout the year. So we'll have, you know, probably even for years. Some of those big chunks will take years to break down. So we're doing a lower end lean in the greenhouse here. So these are an indeterminate plant, which means they continue to grow through the whole season. Really the only thing that'll slow them down is our dwindling light and eventually a frost. So, you know, these plants, even in our setting, they will get to be, they'll be, you know, probably 12 to 15 feet long, and before we're done with them. And basically, to accommodate that in a tunnel that's only 6 or 7 feet tall is as you can see up here, as they're trellised down, where you might notice they're on an angle. So we're leaning them as we as they get taller. We come in and we release a little bit more string, and then we lower them. And then you usually have to go along and prune at the leaves. So we're trying to keep about 12 leaf clusters per plant as well. You know, trying to keep, again, the bottom of the fruit nice and clean, or I mean the plant nice and clean. Keep that airflow going through it. Tomatoes are a plant that they like a lot of diseases. Blight is one thing that we're always on the lookout for. Now that one, I don't know if that one just got too much water or what. That's one of the things tomatoes like to do too, is split. I find sun gold pretty decent. As far as the splitting goes, I mean, any tomato as it's getting to its end stage, if you get a really heavy rain, the plant will suck up so much moisture that the fruit will split, and then you have a whole bunch of fruit that will go bad very quickly, which is super frustrating. But you don't control the weather, at least I don't. Not yet anyways. That's probably where I should do the evil laugh. I'll have to work on that for next time. Nice looking tomatoes. Let's go get some more pint boxes. And the joys of drip irrigation. You can see here we got a leak there. Let's fix that. So you can buy goof plugs to fix drip tape. There just looks like little plugs that you basically plug in the hole. I find they work pretty good, but what also works pretty well is just some electrical tape. So we'll use that to plug the hole here. So I'd say what happens when we were weeding this, that we got a hole in it. Here we go. So you can see here, see the water, and we got some hot Hungarians there. Those are definitely ready to pick. Okay, so let's do this in a manner so I don't get soaked. You can see there, what I usually like to do is just start a couple wraps before. And I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect. There's not a ton of pressure here. I mean, it's meant to drip. So there, I'm nice and tight right before, and I'll go nice and tight on top, and there we go. The water is, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because this is drip tape. It's meant to continue on. So there we go, and I'll just pull it. So you can see, there's the job. I would consider that good enough for a drip tape fix. And, you're just trying to avoid too many of those where you're throwing all your water out on the ground. That tomato got away from us. Missed that guy. And missed that guy. That's encouraging, because those are just on a higher truss. So that's how they're getting missed. Is just the the next truss up in the row is starting to I'm just gonna say blossom, ripen. So we've been having a lot of hard rain of late, and you can see some dirt has splashed up on some tomato plants or some pepper plants, which is not ideal. Here's a nice batch right here. The other thing that I've been trying to do is, often on these trusses of tomatoes, you'll have the very end tomato, or the very first tomato, which will be quite large. It will be fully ready. Maybe you'll even have it picked. And then at the other end of the truss, you'll have the tomatoes almost progressively getting smaller. So let me see here. So this is an example here. You can see the size difference from here to here. And you can actually see I did on this one, I cut the very tip off. Because, you know, the truss, by the time the very end tomato is actually ripe, is so much farther along. And the tomatoes are so much smaller. They really just don't amount to anything. I'd rather, you know, just have that truss done. Have that energy going towards a bigger plant or a bigger fruit cluster higher up the plant, and go from there. So, no. So one of the things that I am mega looking forward to is making our first pico de gallo. We love making salsa, and fresh salsa is pretty hard to beat. It's one of our goals this year, is to probably make some fresh salsa and be bringing it to the market. I have had the kind of like the what would be your last supper meal, you know, if you're on death row, what is the meal that you're being asked to be brought? I just kind of smushed that one, so I'm gonna eat this guy. So yeah, that is an amazing tomato flavor, really juicy, bursting with a lot of flavor. I think everything what you would want in a cherry tomato, and especially this time of year. So there is an example right there. You can see here we have a split cherry tomato in there. So whether that is just something that the plant got too much rain, but either way, we can't really bring that anywhere because it will not, like, it has no storage. So another taste test. Very good, very juicy. Just almost that explosion of tomato flavor. I would describe them as candy. I mean, they're really amazing taste. I mean, this time of year when everything's so fresh. There's another split. And another split there. So I don't know if the plants up here just got a little bit too much water. Like I said, we've been having some heavy rains of late. We try and control the conditions in the greenhouse, but I mean, if the water table is high, it's high. You might be able to see through there. We've got the cherry bombs on the other side. So you can see those are a nice fat. You can see them hiding over there. They are a nice fat red tomato. So here's the first cherry bomb. So there you can see a little bit bigger, but really nice tomato flavor. I'm gonna grab that one so you can see. So the reason that they're on this side is that we've started to wrap the plants around. So as we lower and lean, I mean, eventually you come to the end of the row, so you have to lean them. You have to have space for them to go. So what you do with the plants at the end is they get leaned around the row. So you're kind of going in a circle with them. So we've got some red ones. You can see there, those are nice looking cherry tomatoes. Those will sell very well. We did about, I don't know, 20 plants of the cherry bombs last year just as a bit of a trial, and really liked them. So doing a lot more this year. Okay, let's take you around the end of the row here. So over here you can see we have our habanero plants there, as well as some weeds. That needs to be tied down, staked down. So here's the other end, from the other end of the greenhouse. You can see it's a bit of a tomato jungle. Here you can see our leaning. I haven't pruned these in a few days, or suckered them, I should say. So you can see here. Now, like that one is an example of where it's just too big to really be snapping that with your finger. Like this one, you can probably get away. Like right here, if I just snap it, see how that came off in one nice piece? It didn't tear or anything like that. This one, on the other hand, often you will, you might do damage, or a portion of the stem will pull up, and all you're doing there is you're really just giving the, you're exposing the plant to more opportunity for disease and stuff. So like up here, like if it was just this one here, you can see here, like this one needs to go. So here's the main stem as it goes down, and then you can see here's a leaf, and then here's the sucker. So this is trying to be its own plant, really, like it would set up its own vine. And what we're trying to do is, you know, concentrate the growth into the main stem, concentrate on growing fruit clusters, not a huge bushy plant. And here's an example of where one, you can see as I snap that, see how there's a piece that's tearing there. Hopefully you can see it. So I'll just come in and snap that rather than damage the plant, because you're just trying to not set these plants back. Anyways, we're here to pick tomatoes, so I don't want to sucker too much, but you know, with a nice pair of sharp scissors, you know, that is a very quick job. I might go get another tray. And I probably need to get more boxes too, so let me go get that. Hey, got some more baskets, get another bin here, so let's go up and finish off the cherry tomatoes. I just thought I'd take you for the walk here. Oh, there is another leak. So this is just something you got to keep always on with drip tape, and I do reuse my drip tape from year to year. So especially when you're reusing it, you know, it's only a matter of time and you will have some leaks. So just get out my my electrical tape here. Okay. And same sort of deal where I just started a few wraps before. And again, for the most part, that is tight enough. Again, it's drip tape, it's gonna drip, but that's his point. So there's some nice looking green peppers here. You can see these are a indeterminate greenhouse variety, so they're supposed to get pretty big. Plants, that is. The peppers, they're not the biggest ones I grow. The determinate peppers I do find get a touch bigger. So again, as you can see here, this is a bit of a tomato forest. I don't love this, that you got to be so careful walking through the row. I'm almost walking sideways here. I got to be watching where I'm stepping. This is not enough space between the aisles. There's but again, can't have every little tool. Can't have every tool. I mean, we're thinking about a greenhouse, but oh, and looks like I've got a water girl coming to help me. Careful where you step. Thank you. So I didn't ask them to do that, so now I'm starting to wonder what they must be. They're going to be after something. Look at this plant. This is pretty wild here. I don't know if that was touching the ground or something, but look at all those roots trying to form. So that's one thing some people don't realize about tomato plants, is if you you basically plant any amount in the stem in the ground, they will form roots. So it's always nice to plant them really deep. I've even seen some people where they'll leave the plant on the ground leaned over for a few days, and the stem will actually start to come up, and then because then it has that natural bend in it, they'll then plant that, which is, I thought, kind of neat. So again, here's a truss that's pretty much spent. So let's take that off. Just one less thing to get caught on. So again, these are a cherry bomb tomato. Highly recommend them if you wanted to try an indeterminate tomato. We're zone 5B, if memory serves correctly. I mean, we start getting frost-free days around here pretty much the start of June, if everything goes well. It's been a little bit wonky the past few years, so we have had some weird frost dates and such. One nice thing about these cherry bombs too is they're a pretty fat cherry tomato. So they fill a pint box pretty quick. So very soon we're going to be coming up on the third type of cherry tomato that I did here, which is a mosaic mix. And as I mentioned earlier, they're like an oblong tomato. And in theory are supposed to have a few colors to it, aka the name mix. We'll see here in a second. So I see some green ones there of the mosaic mix. Again, great looking tomatoes, great size, easy to fill a pint. They throw out a ton of suckers. They are a bit more challenging to prune. I will give them that they are a really vivacious plant, that they throw out a lot of suckers. And I find I will prune them, and then at the crotch angle where I've pruned the sucker, it'll throw out another sucker. So like I'm pruning like the same crotch angle on the plant multiple times, and then if you miss anything, you're coming back to like maybe 2 feet of growth. Trying to keep my baskets nice close together there, so if I miss a basket, The tomato just goes in. So I think I had 9 baskets of the sun golds, but that was over a whole row. The cherry bombs I have much less of, but they are a bigger tomato. So I've already got 6 baskets here. You can see there. So this is the end of the cherry bombs, and the reason I know that is because this is the big beefsteaks and I haven't had to lean these yet. So you can see they have not had to be leaned over yet. So they're an indeterminate plant as well. And I've been growing these this is my 3rd year. Really happy with that variety as well. It seems quite disease resistant, produces fruit on the top end of about 1 pound a piece, which is just a massive tomato. So they've been a good plant for us. And I don't know about you guys, but I love a grilled piece of toast, some lettuce, some bacon, and a nice thick slice of tomato, some mayonnaise, a BLT, fresh tomato. That's pretty good. So I'm looking forward to that first BLT of the summer with our own tomatoes and some nice fresh lettuce. These plants look like they could have been pruned a little bit better, so that's on me. Pruned a little bit harder, I guess is what I'd say. All right. One of the challenges always in doing this is to pick the tomatoes without knocking the clusters off, or knocking the fruit off the clusters, I mean. Okay, I'm gonna call that 9, and that's probably good enough. So there you can see, so there's 9 boxes of the cherry. And let's have a look here, since this cluster So one of the things I'm trying to do this year is no cluster more than 4 tomatoes. So we're gonna pick one of these and get rid of it. As sad as that is to do, I'd say this one. They all look to be in perfect shape, but just, you know, a cluster can only produce, you know, four tomatoes off of that. I mean, that's big enough that maybe we'll see a bit of sliced green tomato or something later. Okay, so that's picking tomatoes in our tomato forest. And I guess I gotta go run an errand now, so that's gonna be everything for now. So thanks for coming along with me today, and everyone have a nice day.